Hi, everybody. Thank you for joining us today. My name is Whitney Ewing, and I'm the Assistant Director for Education Abroad at North Central College. I want to thank Catherine Martin so much for being here today to share a little bit about our partnership and a semester at the University of Limerick in Limerick, Ireland. Oh my gosh, all of our students have had such a wonderful time at this very student-centered university. It's absolutely fantastic. I hope you enjoy hearing from Catherine. And if any of you have any questions, feel free to put them in the question box in your GoToWebinar control panel. Just a couple of things. All participants except for presenters are muted. So if you have any questions, please use that feature in the panel. At the end of the presentation, I'll go ahead and facilitate that and ask Catherine those questions for you all so you can have your questions answered. And then 2 reminders, when you are ready, please make an appointment with an Education Abroad advisor to discuss your future study abroad plans. I'll go ahead and share the link to Rachel Berkeley's Calendly so you can set up an appointment with her when you're ready to talk about your next steps. It's never too early to plan ahead. So even if you're, say, a first year or sophomore and you're not thinking about going abroad till senior year, I suggest you still meet with Rachel to discuss your plans and make sure academically you're on track to still graduate on time, etc. If you are interested in studying abroad for the fall 2021 semester, applications are due by midnight on November 10th, and you will need to meet with an Education Abroad advisor before you're able to access the application portal. Thank you so much, Catherine, again, and the stage is all yours.
Thank you, Whitney. I'm very happy to be here and I'm very happy to be presenting to you all today. So yes, my name is Catherine Martin and I'm Study Abroad Manager at the University of Limerick, and I'd like to Kate Mila Fáilte to you all to the presentation. So that means welcome, 100,000 welcomes in Irish. So in the presentation today, I'm just going to talk a little bit about the introduction, why Ireland, why UL, and we're going to look at some classes, cultural, social, accommodation, and some student testimonials. So just to literally locate Ireland, Ireland is just to the right of the United States. I always have to think about that. Right over in Western Europe, and we are a small island in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean. But we are quite close to Europe, so we're an hour from London, a couple of hours from Paris, from Madrid, from Spain, from Germany, and we're between 6 hours to the East Coast, and on a flight around 7.5 to 8 hours from Chicago. And this is where we are in Ireland. So we are in the Midwest of the country. It's a very small country. So to go from left to right, or East Coast to West Coast, or West Coast to East Coast, you're looking at around 2 to 3 hours. And to go from the north of the country all the way down to the south of the country, driving, you're talking about 7 to 8 hours. So probably even closer to 7. So in terms of geography and size, it's a lot smaller than what you guys would be used to in the States. Almost 5 million people live in Ireland, but with the Irish diaspora and all of the immigration, 70 million people identify as Irish. So Ireland is the 6th most popular destination for study abroad students, which is sometimes surprising to you guys. We are a very small country, but the 6th most popular destination in the world, that's a big deal. And why is that the case? So we're going to just look at some of those reasons. And actually, all of these photographs that you're seeing here are photographs taken by our study abroad, previous study abroad students. And this one is in the Cliffs of Moher. So Ireland, it's modern yet traditional. So we are a small country. We are seen as traditional, I suppose, in the sense of community and people knowing each other and having traditions and culture. Yet we are modern, we're 21st century. 30% of the population are under the age of 30. So we're a very young country as well. We're English speaking. So even though we are Irish and we have our own national language, Irish or Gaelic, we speak English every day. So it's a very popular destination for students that want to experience Europe but don't want to have to do it in a foreign language. The scenery and the nature, second to none, spectacularly beautiful. And for those of you that come from the Chicago area or from the Midwest, it's quite nice to be this close to the ocean or the Atlantic Ocean. Um, um, if you could even go maybe surfing or swimming or kayaking, if you are so brave. The water is a little bit colder than maybe what you're used to in the States, but it's very fresh. The people, friendly and hospitable. So the Irish people are known throughout the world as being friendly and hospitable. Again, it comes back to the fact that we're such a small country. We do like to find connections. We do that through chatting to people and talking to them. So it's very informal, and people at the bus stop or on the train or even on a coach from Limerick to Dublin or Limerick to Cork, it isn't unusual for us to start having conversations with the person sitting beside us and finding connections as we go. And they're very curious about American students and American people because we have a very strong history and culture and connection with the US, and most Irish people would have relatives living in America or people they know. So the location is super. It's, as I said, quite close to Europe, and Limerick is in a great location in Ireland because it's easy distance of both the east and the west coast and of the beautiful Wild Atlantic Way, which the cliffs of Moher are on, and it's only an hour from the other cities. Safety. So Ireland is in one of the top 10 safest destinations to live and to travel in the world. And again, it's partly to do with our size and the small country and the small community, but it's also just part of our culture. There's a very low rate of kind of crime, violent crime, I suppose, and we walk around quite freely in our towns and cities. The education system is second to none. We have a very high standard of education in Ireland, and the rate of attendance for completing high school and going to university or college or higher education is up in the 90%. The culture is the third most. I should probably move this up to number 3 on my list. But when American study abroad students are asked about their favorite thing about Ireland, culture is in the top 3. And the culture is the language, it's the music, it's the sport, it's what makes a country or a people themselves. Can be hard to define. So I would suggest you come and find out for yourself. But the culture is very important, and a very important part of who we are. As I already mentioned, we have a very young, vibrant population, and this does lend itself to an engaging, informative, political but not overly political populace. And as I said, Ireland is very liberal in its outlook, and something that maybe some of my American students when they come are surprised, but it's a good surprise and a welcome surprise that they have so much in common with the other students their own age. And also Ireland is a global leader in business. We have a lot of the multinationals are based in Ireland, both European, US, Irish, because we are on the doorstep, I suppose, of Europe, and we are English speaking. It's a great place for business, and a lot of the multinationals, a lot of the pharma companies, the technological companies, the social media companies, all have their European headquarters in Ireland. I just want to speak a little bit about Limerick. So obviously the university is based in Limerick. So Limerick is the third largest city in Ireland. It has a population of around 100,000. It's a medieval city, and in that photograph there at the back you can see the castle, which is from the year 1200. It's also the gateway to the Wild Atlantic Way, and because of its central location, it's very close to get to the other cities and some of the tourist destinations in Ireland, and it's something that the students really like about the university and about Limerick. There's some things to do when you come. There's some cultural things to see. I won't talk too much about them because when you come, we can talk more about what's on offer. But when you're looking at this presentation later, you can Google any one of these places here, and it'll give you an idea of what's on offer. For example, the farmers market, which is the milk market, is one of the photographs there. And also there's lots of cafes and pubs. So it's a really vibrant, small city where you can get your bearings quickly, but where you really do get the opportunity to meet the local people going about their local business. So the university was voted the Irish University of the Year in 2019, and also the Irish Campus of the Year in 2019 and 2020. And part of that is because we just have a most beautiful campus on over 400 acres. And there is a virtual tour which you can look at. The links will go along with this video. So some of the reasons why UL is so popular and what the international students have said about UL. So the awards and the achievements is based on a survey that we do every other year, where we survey international students, and those students rank us, or we are ranked against other Irish universities and then other European universities and actually global universities. So we are number 2 in the world for international student happiness. We were ranked number 1 in Ireland for sports facilities, number 1 globally for social activities, which again is our clubs and societies. We were voted the best international office in Ireland and the UK, the best accommodation quality and access in Ireland, and the best library in Ireland. Our library was doubled in size 2 years ago, and it's pretty impressive. And we've got the highest graduate employment out of any of the Irish universities in Ireland. So this is one of the videos that you will be able to access separately. Whitney will be sending out the links along with this presentation. And that video is one that it covers all study, all international, not just study abroad, but for students that will be doing masters and undergraduates as well. Sorry, no, I'll just take that off. Let me just move on from here. There we go. So one of the reasons, and Whitney referenced it at the beginning of the presentation, that the University of Limerick is known for being student-centred and student-focused. And when we surveyed some of our students a couple of years ago, and we asked them, well, what is it, if you had to describe Limerick or describe UL, what would you say? And they said, well, we would say it's about connections. It's about connecting with people. It's about the community. It's about the community in the city, the community on campus, and about the friendships we make and the experiences we have. So a lot of the connections is about connecting to your community to make friends for life. So I'm going to talk a little bit more about this as I go along, but it's not just a place to learn, it's a place to belong. And part of the first 2 points relate to the fact that 80% of UL students live on or near the campus. So we're a campus-based university where the accommodations, where the classes, where the clubs and societies, where the sports pitches, the swimming pool, everything is based on the 400-acre campus. It means that there is a real student community, student vibe, student village type of an atmosphere on campus. So at 6 o'clock, the students aren't like in an urban-based university. You know, at the end of the day, students are gone all over the city because they're living all over the city because it's hard to get accommodation. In UL, 80% of students live on campus or literally just outside the main gates in some of the residential housing estates that are close to the campus. We're very keen on orientation and on welcoming you to Limerick, Ireland and UL and helping you settle. And as part of that, we have a 7-day orientation. And to start that off, we do an airport pickup from Shannon Airport. And we are also now providing an airport pickup from Dublin Airport. So that's the 7-day orientation program. It's a mixture of culture, social, academic, fun, meet and greets with other students and faculty and staff. And we found that At the end of the 7 days, the students, when they start classes on the Monday, the following Monday, 90% of their questions have been answered and any issues have been resolved. So it's an award-winning orientation. Actually, it's one of the ones that we normally get, you know, the best welcome in Ireland or the best orientation in Ireland. To help students settle, we also have a buddy program where international students are buddied up with a UL student, and they normally would start to meet with you during orientation, and for the first 3 to 4 weeks, every week, and then every other week after that until the end of term. And we find it's a great way for international students to meet other international students, because we normally have one UL buddy with maybe 3 international students, and you go off and have coffee together and have pizzas together and maybe do some bowling or go to the cinema. And it's a way for us to incorporate integration and allow you to meet Irish students. We also have over 80 clubs and societies, and because we are a campus-based university, they are very active, and it's a great way during the week. And I don't mean active as in activity-based, which a lot of them are. I mean active as in there is a lot of interest in them, and there is a lot of participation. And we also have opportunities to volunteer in the community and to maybe do some accredited service learning modules. This particular video, which was also sent to you or will be sent to you with this presentation, is our UL virtual campus tour. We're aware that this year some of the students may not be able to be with us in person or may be having a delayed start. So we did a virtual campus tour, which gives kind of an oversight with a drone of the campus. And it's actually a really good way to see the campus from on high. And that will give you another idea of the services and what we have on offer in UL. And when we're talking about connections, we're also talking about connecting to a real international experience. And what that means for you is that there are over 1,500 international students at the university, and I suppose I should have said this at the outset. UL has approximately 16,000 students, maybe 13 to 14,000 at undergraduate level and 2,000 to 3,000 at postgraduate level. And out of that 16,000, over 1,500, and it goes up and down year on year. It could be 15, it could be 17, it could be 18. Every year actually it's getting more. International students from all over the world. We also have the largest Erasmus program in Ireland, and the Erasmus program are the same as you guys, but they're from Europe. These are the European studies that are coming, European students that are coming to study for 1 semester or 1 year at the university. And the European students and the US students, because you're all here for 1 semester, tend to make friendships and hang out together. And also, these are the students that you will live with. So we encourage the international experience and integration. And one of the ways we do this is to try and have our US students living with our EU students and some of Irish students if possible. So you learn and live with other Irish and European Union students. And also, it's very cheap to travel around Ireland, and it's very cheap to travel to Europe. Now, at the moment, there are travel restrictions because of the pandemic, but when you come, hopefully, fingers crossed, we will be in a better place in terms of vaccines and things getting a little bit more back to normal. In terms of the classes, there are over 1,000 classes that you can choose from. Our typical class load is 4 to 5 classes, and these are worth 3 US credits. So a full class load would be 4 to 5 classes, equaling 12 to 15 US credits. And the reason I say US credits is that in Europe, we work off the ECTS, which is the European Credit Transfer System, and that is normally 6. So you will see all of the classes in UL will have 6 ECTS, but that is more or less just double the US credits. So for you guys, it's 12 to 15 US credits, but you will often see that written in UL as 24 to 30 ECTS credits, but it's the exact same thing. Sorry, it's my phone. Let me just turn it off. You have 2 weeks to finalize your classes. And naturally, being a young university and being a world-class university, we have very good learning facilities and academic learning supports that you can link into. There's another video here, it's a study abroad video that we made last year, and it has some of our study abroad students on it and speaking on it. Again, you would have you'll receive this link in along with the presentation. And just a little bit more about the classes. We have 4 faculty: business, arts, humanities and social studies, science and engineering, and education and health sciences. And that's broken down here. Generally, you can see the disciplines or the majors that are on offer in UL. We've got a lot of students that might take their Gen Ed or their core classes in language or history or culture, or maybe maths and stats or science. And then we have a lot of students that will take some of their majors as well, whether that's in engineering or in psychology or in business as well. Plenty of choice is the short answer there. And some of the popular Irish cultural classes or the study abroad classes are Introduction to Irish Music and Dance, and that is an introduction. So you might learn Irish step dancing, Irish flute, which is the tin whistle, I suppose. It's not really a flute, but it's a penny whistle. The Irish drum, which is called a bodhrán. If any of you are into Irish traditional music, you would know the drum and what it does. And Irish songs if you're a singer. And if you are a musician, please do bring your instrument with you. It is possible to take classes in the Irish World Academy of Music and Dance, and they're always very open to visiting students who play music or dance, regardless of what your major is. Irish folklore is another popular class, Celtic civilization, Irish language for beginners, introduction to Gaelic games, and again, some of the service learning classes. So these are some of the classes that students will take alongside their core classes or their majors. And the other thing why students come to do a study abroad, yes, obviously your classes are important, but equally important to study abroad students is the experiential or the experience of traveling to Ireland, the experience of traveling to Europe. And when asked why, they say, we want to have memories to last a lifetime. And we all understand that it's very expensive to travel in oh, I'm so sorry about this. Oh, technology. Sorry now. Sorry. No, there we go. Sorry about that. It's very expensive to travel in general, and once you graduate from college and have to pay back all your loans, yes, it can be even more expensive again. And that's why study abroad is a great opportunity to travel. Yes, it costs money, and obviously a lot of students save and you have to take out your loans or your financial aid. But it really is a good way to see a bit of the world while you can mostly afford it. And as part of that, the travel within Ireland and the travel to Europe is hugely important. And I just have some images there that the students have taken over the years, both within Ireland and in London as well. And fingers crossed, when you come and visit us and when you come to travel, that you will be able to travel to Europe. But regardless, you will be able to travel around Ireland, and it's a beautiful, absolutely beautiful country. And there's so much to see every weekend, so you won't be bored. Another part that's very important to students is, okay, well, where do I live? what is it like to live on campus and what happens in the evening. And we're blessed in UL because of the size of our campus, and it's a campus-based university, we had plenty of space to build student villages. So we have 6 student villages on campus, and we have 1 to 2 student villages off campus. So these are some of the images of the student villages. There's a video here, Kilmurray Village video. I'm not going to show it. It's one of the ones that I sent you. It was one that was filmed this year by UL students, and it gives you an overview of what the accommodation looks like and the location. In this instance, it's Kilmurray Village, which is quite close to the UL Sports Arena. There are some internal images there, as you can see as well. I suppose the main thing to talk about the accommodation is, first of all, it's guaranteed on-campus accommodation. You live with Irish and European students. You have your own bedroom, so that's great news. You do not have to share your bedroom with anybody. You can have a shared bathroom or an ensuite bathroom. And if it's a shared bathroom, you will only share with maximum 3 other bedrooms. So there will never be more than 4 people sharing one bathroom. If you want to pay a little bit more, you can have your own ensuite bathroom. There's 24-hour security, and as part of the accommodation, you get free gym membership. And if you so wish, you can have a meal plan, but it's not necessary if you don't wish to, because there are cooking facilities in every apartment. And then I've already touched on some of the student support. We have the buddy program with the 7-day orientation. We have a dedicated student support officer. We have a resident director. We have a free counselling and wellbeing service, and we have a learning centre. And actually, Whitney, in one of the videos, in 2 of the videos I sent on, our UL resident director from 2 years ago is Ashley, who was a North Central College alumni who came to us to do her study abroad and then returned to do her master's last year. And she was our US resident director for all the US study abroad students. And in some of the videos I sent you on today, Ashley's in them. I'm not sure if you've seen them, but if you do, have a look. She did a great job. We miss her. And then just a little bit about the sports. We have an Olympic-sized swimming pool, we've got a gym, we've got an indoor and outdoor running track, and we've got lots of playing pitches. So UL is known as one of the sporting campuses of Ireland, and a lot of people that are into health and exercise and sport, domestic students and international, choose to come to UL for that. And there are some images of the lovely walks and pathways on campus on the River Shannon. We have over 70 clubs and societies. You should have gotten the video for that as well, so you can have a look at that, including American football, soccer and ultimate frisbee, all very popular with our US students. And you don't have to be a brilliant American footballer or a soccer player, by the way, to play our ultimate frisbee. And there's an example of some of the clubs and societies that are there. So the lots of obviously activity-based clubs, but also a lot of non-activity-based societies. And then that's it really. There's, I suppose, if students ask me, well, why should I come to UL? Feedback from students before you has been for the fun, for the friends, for the experiences, and most of all, for the memories. There's another video there that an ex-student, an Iowa State student actually, made. It's quite long. I'm not sure I sent you that link, but you'll find it on our YouTube page. The international, or the UL Global International YouTube, Twitter, Instagram is where you'll find all of the information that is student-led by international students for international students. So you will find it all there. And I think that is the end of my presentation.